Here's a quick rundown of the next two. We've got 8 valence electrons in the oxygen, 8 in the fluorine. There's 2 of them, so we do our math. We'd end up with 2 bonds. We'd have oxygen in the middle, attached to a fluorine on either side. Enough electrons to go around to give everything 8 electrons in its outer shell. Then if we look at our ABE notation, we've got our central atom bound to 2 different atoms, as well as 2 pairs of valence electrons that are not part of any bonds on our central atom. So if we look at our AB2E2, if we look that up, it's going to correspond to a bent shape. And then the only type of bonds we have are connecting oxygens to fluorines. Oxygen's electronegativity is 3.5, fluorine's is 4.0 from that new periodic table we gave you. Our difference in electronegativities is 0.5. That corresponds to a bond that's polar. So we go to our flow chart. Is there a polar bond? Yes. Are there lone pair electrons in our central atom? Yes. That means the molecule is polar. If we go to the next one here, SO2, sulfur dioxide. Sulfur would love to have 8 valence electrons. Oxygen would love to have 2. Gives us 24 that they'd love to have. Sulfur actually has 6 valence electrons, and oxygen actually has 6 valence electrons. There's 2 of them, so that's going to give us a total of 18 valence electrons. We're going to do 24 minus 18. That'll give us 6. Divide that by 2. That'll give us 3 bonds. So we put our sulfur in the middle with an oxygen on each side. Connect them with single bonds, and then we're going to have to add a double bond in there somewhere. If you had it over here and a single bond over here, that's just fine. Then we're going to go around making everything happy. There's 2 electrons that this oxygen thinks it has from the bond, and then it's going to get 6 more dots. This sulfur thinks it has 6 from our bonds, so it needs 2 more dots to get 8. This oxygen thinks it has 4 from those bonds, and it's going to get 4 more to give it a total of 8. Our ABE, A is just our central atom. There's 1 of them. How many things are bound to our central atom? It doesn't matter that there's a double bond there. All that matters is how many atoms are bound to our central atom. So that's 2 of them. And then we've got this single lone pair of electrons on the central atom there. If we look up AB2E, that's also bent. And then the only type of bonds that we have in this compound are combining sulfur to oxygen. Sulfur's electronegativity is 2.5. Oxygen's is 3.5. You can do the difference as 1.0. And that corresponds to polar bonds. Then we run through the flow chart. Is there a polar bond? Yes. Are there lone pair electrons on our central atom? There are right here. So that corresponds to the answer of yes too. So that's how we do the front side. The next video we'll just go through all the answers on the back side.